What's going on, boys? Today we're talking a bit about FE and how it can seem to be be like a perceiving function sometimes. It's not, but we'll go through it and explain what that sense might mean. You're learning about cognitive functions, you learn about FE, and you see its ability to change people's minds and bring them to your side. Or, in other, more realistic words, get them to do awful, stupid shit. And you recognize that as a judging function. It's something exerted. However, you'll notice, especially if you are an FE type, FE's influence on the FE type. And depending on where FE is in that individual stack, the more susceptible that individual is to different sorts of effects. For instance, in FJs, FE alone can lead to extreme changes in belief. In TPs, FE alone can lead to heightened aggression or isolation. Examples I've observed, you'll notice most INFJs have a colorful, varied, often surprising and embarrassing history of different political allegiances. You'll notice many ETPs mask their real feelings or beliefs behind facades, or they'll get hyper-aggressive out of nowhere and lash out at people around them. You'll notice many ITPs either put themselves around people and, without asserting themselves, become complete pushovers, or they isolate themselves. Or they do the lash out thing, but with even less finesse. Now, if they're all FE types, and FE is supposed to be an exerting function, why do they do that? Firstly, you'll notice I didn't include EFJs in my examples. I didn't include ISFJs either. SFJs because I haven't studied them enough. ENFJs because they use FE a little bit differently. With ENFJs, you can absolutely see it, FE, as an exerting and only an exerting function. But secondly, and more importantly, with all the rest, they're inclined toward those behaviors because FE brings in information. If one person has bad vibes and you're an FE type, you're going to have bad vibes. If someone has a take different from yours, you're going to feel obligated to react to it somehow. If someone is hurting, you're going to feel obligated either to do something or to get away from them because the situation is affecting you. There are a million ways you can react to another person, but if you're an FE type, you will never escape that they are affecting you. FE, other people in their moods, push just as much into you as you do onto them. And you do onto them. You'll notice FE types almost always on some level mirror or send out what they're getting in. Another weird thing I've noticed, FJs have more control over what they send out, but not the way they're internally affected by what they're getting in. Whereas TPs can maintain what they're thinking inside, but will be very externally expressive. And when you think about it from a cognitive angle, which we're going to get into, it makes sense, but it's a weird inversion. You'd think feelers would be the ones who are more externally expressive about these things. Now, FE's ability to affect the FE individual makes it seem like a perceiving function. It isn't. It's still a judging function because it's still exerting. The difference is it's exerting on the individual. Other people's actions, inactions, and reactions will affect you. And it's not just your mood. It will exert on your TI and your perceiving functions. A pattern I've observed in INTPs is they will consciously avoid conferring with people or outside sources when they're trying to figure things out, because if they did that, those other voices would affect their pure TI. When INTPs are really trying to figure something out, oftentimes they'll pull away. INFJs do that too, actually. I can't say for certain about ETPs, SFJs, or ENFJs on that front. Now, I don't know what that means, FEs exerting on other functions, but that it is happening is worth noting. Now, I think TE has something similar going on. You'll notice culture and heritage affect TE types a lot more, and it's a lot more important to them. On an internal level anyway, which I think is the most important. Dogma and zeitgeist can affect TE types a lot worse than it can FE types. And the effects will linger longer. And TE types are more inclined to accept things solely because other people are accepting them. And again, you'll notice, placement in stack has everything to do with this. With ENTJs, I've noticed a pattern of accepting what everyone believes to be true, and then worrying about whether or not it's true for a long time, as whatever they believe exerts everything on all their other functions. Versus NFPs. They almost never accept the mainstream narrative of anything, but then they'll pick out something, an extremely niche belief, and then believe that 100% without questioning it, which in turn affects every other aspect of their life, and takes a long time to shake if they ever shake it. Now, I don't know what all this means, and I don't know enough about the TE side of things because I don't have TE, but it is happening. These extroverted judging functions, marketed as externally exerting force on others or things, end up gathering and bringing in data from people in society and then exerting that information on all their other functions on the individual level. And I'd like to figure this out because I know what TI looks like or feels like when FE exerts on it. FI, on the other hand, a function humanity seems to have selected for, I have no access to. And it, from the outside, it looks like TE is exerting on FI, but I have no idea what that looks like on the inside, how it feels, and exactly what it makes FI or TE do in response to different things. If you think people and their decisions are important, understanding this process to the point you understand it enough to simulate it and make predictions is probably important. Or at least understanding it enough you can manage it in yourself instead of letting it have absolute control over you. I don't know, man. The fact one function that is supposed to be the external force function has so much control over an individual's internal state and therefore their decisions seems like it's something we should probably figure out. But that about rippity wraps this one up. I hope you enjoyed watching, because I certainly enjoyed making it. I've been thinking about this one for a while. Like if you enjoyed, because it helps me out a lot. Subscribe if you haven't, because we do this shit sometimes. And comment your thoughts, because I love hearing from you. If you're a TE type, how does TE influence your FI? And where is it in your stack? Thanks again for watching our video. Really be a lot of fun on this channel. So much fun, in fact. You can rush the fun and try to keep it under 10 minutes for no real reason. But that's how much fun we have on this channel, and I look forward to doing this with you guys again in the future.